Welcome to the San Antonio Fancast. I'm your host, Royce. Thanks for joining us after a little sabbatical there. Man, yeah, it's been a while, but we have a special guest today joining us, Harry. Harry, how are you?
I'm filling the role of Robert or Matt. I'm trying to decide. Do I want to go Skull Vikings or whatever the Dynamo do? Nobody knows what they do because nobody shows up. So
be a sellout. Yeah, you could be a sellout. That's fine.
You can sit in the orange seats. Be an RGV fan, kind of same thing with for Matt. But no, excited to be back. Sorry I took some time off. Just wanted to get some mental health back in check for me. Just I was not in a good position, positively positioned, and instead of coming on and say stuff that I can't take back, I decided to take a break. But like SAFC, getting off the mat, a little bit positive mood. Looking to hang out with Jonathan and Rafa, although Jonathan did throw you over the board, for not having the show last few weeks. I just called it as I see it, Jonathan. I'm just saying, man. You put it out there. I hit it.
By call it as you see it, you mean throw Royce under the bus on social media?
Yeah, pretty much. And by the way, also joining us, Jonathan. Jonathan, how are you?
Doing all right. We finally managed to get everything together and put together a show for tonight.
Good Lord. Yeah.
It doesn't seem too cobbled together, so let's hope things stay on the rails tonight.
Absolutely. Harry, it's great to have you back. Glad you're on the show.
Good to hear on the rails with me on the show. We know that, so let's end that dispense right there.
I mean, we can try, we can hope.
That's at least the show is happening. That's an improvement.
And also we have Rafa joining us on this train that's about to roll off the track. Rafa, how are you, crazy train?
Good. A little hot. Just got back from goalkeeper training. So it was fun working with two players that, like I said, teaching the basics, hopefully future SAFC players or beyond. So it's good. It's been a while since I've been out there, so the heat took a toll. Gone through
Can we just get it out of the way? Rafa, do your 15 seconds, the number of seconds.
Hurry up.
Real Madrid.
Hurry up.
Let's
15 seconds.
Let's just get it out of the way. Come on.
15 seconds. Hurry up. And for Club America, you get 15 seconds, not for each, but for both concurrently. 3, 2, 1.
I was going to say that for last. For Harry to
No, get it out of the way first. Get it out of the way first. Let's go.
I do have a new background. I mean, you can like the new background.
Time is literally ticking.
So, a la Madrid, or the Moscow America, 15-15. There we go.
Folks, he did it in folks, he did it in 10 seconds. He's not the best in the biz for nothing. So yeah. Man, where do we start? We start where we always start. Let's talk transactions. And we have one big one that has happened yesterday. Yeah, I wore my socks yesterday. Fun. Welcome to the team, Jake LaCava. Jake LaCava was a top attacker with Tampa Bay last season and has joined Charleston, a very hot Charleston.
2 seasons ago.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2
Tampa.
Seasons ago. Man,
and then he signed with Inter Miami, and then this season signed with Charleston.
Thank you, fact checker, because I just read the press release and I need to read closer. Harry, you know what? You take it away. Fire away. Jake LaCava, go ahead. You're back on. Go ahead.
So Jake LaCava, 23. I think the biggest news is he signed a multi-year deal. So this is kind of like another Jorge Hernandez coming in mid-season. Given the number 9 jersey, let me see if I can pull up the show notes here. But I think 2022 with Tampa, he had. I erased my note. 20, I think it was 12 goals or something along those lines. He had a pretty good
I think it was
Full
26.
That,
I think it was
that
26
year-
points combined.
Yeah, if you want to talk about that year in Tampa, I think it was 2022. I want to say it was 12 goals, 5 assists. That
12
was,
goals, 5
I guess,
assists.
kind of considered his best season. He was also a Young Player of the Year finalist for the
Finals.
USL Championship. So it's a good season for him. He's bounced around between a few teams. I think a couple stints at Tampa Bay. Like we said, most recently he was with Charleston. He had joined Inter Miami. He had been with New York Red Bulls too. He apparently also at various times was in the, I think, LAFC Academy, the Barcelona Academy, somewhere here in the States. So he's been around a few places, and now he's with SanAntonio FC for the foreseeable future because they needed more forwards. Kind of. I mean,
We
Well-
can always. Here's the thing: we could always use attacking talent, and it's going to really, with Silva being hurt, it's really going to help take a lot of the onus for offensive, just our offensive capabilities to go just through Hernandez, and for Hernandez just to be that one really creative player trying to create everything. LaCava is going to definitely help out with that. Bear some of the load. I think it's going to help out a lot.
Well,
Rafa,
to me,
go
to me,
ahead.
the
Go
key
ahead.
is he's 23 and he's on a multi-year deal. So he's a young player that if he can get in the right system, and one kind of cause that I have is he couldn't break in with Charleston this year. He wasn't getting a lot of minutes, 10 matches. He was in 10 matches, only started once, 200 and some minutes so far. But wasn't starting for them, was coming off the bench. Now Charleston is loaded, so that is the one key thing for them. So, but for him to sign with them, which was one of the big off-season signings for that here of the USL Championship, and for SanAntonio FC to go in and transfer him and then sign him for the 2 years, to me says a lot about the commitment for that here, and especially with it being a young player, to hopefully partner with Jorge for years to come.
Absolutely. Definitely looking forward to that. I think it's a great move, especially now we need bodies, which we'll get to here in a second. But
USA.
speaking of adding bodies,
yeah, that's a pretty nice transition. Also joining us today, Matthew, MLS Matthew. How are you, Matthew?
Good. I forgot we had a show today. I was running late from the store.
That checks out. All right. I guess we'll continue with the transactions, and we'll talk SAFC with a record number of international call-ups. So I guess let's go through them real quick. The first one we have, Shannon Gomez once again called up by Trinidad and Tobago, and I actually had the opportunity to talk to him after the match on Saturday, and I asked him, "Hey, when do you head out to Trinidad and Tobago?" And he said 5 a.m. So he caught a 5 a.m. flight. Yeah, that night, morning after the Memphis match. So tough, but I did see some pictures from him in camp, and looked like he was doing what he does. Other than that, Jonathan, come on, man.
what?
Did you just delete?
I did not delete them from.
Who deleted the notes?
Yeah, that was not me. That was probably Harry, knowing him. So someone Control Z.
All right. Yeah. Let's see. Off the top of my head, Machop Chol got called up by the South Sudani international team. You had Burra. Burra got called up by Guinea-Bissau. Kavan Lambert called up by Jamaica. And by the way, former SAFC, I guess SAFC alumni, Deshane Beckford also called up by Jamaica. So that's exciting for him. Glad to see him turn that around. He was kind of shut out for a while, and they called him back in because he's done pretty well this season.
Hey, here's a question on Lambert. This call-up, is this for Copa America? Meaning that it's not just going to be for this window, but it's going to be all the way through Copa America? Because Jamaica's in Copa Americas.
Are they in
Yeah,
Copa America or is it for World
Yeah.
Cup qualifying?
No, it's Copa America because Mexico plays Jamaica on the first game in Houston on the 20th, I believe, or the 21st
Of what?
of June. It's in
June.
2 weeks. It's in Houston. The game's in Houston.
Oh,
that
you
was
said
my
those tickets
question
are
because I know
expensive.
Jamaica is
Yeah,
in
he's,
Copa
he, yeah.
America.
Jamaica's in the same group with Mexico. I think Venezuela and forgot who.
But I don't know if he's on that same.
Yeah,
Right.
If they're different rosters.
Which roster
it's the
he's
same.
on? Yeah.
It's only one roster.
Well, aren't they also doing World Cup qualifiers right now though? I know Trinidad is.
Nope.
Trinidad's not
Trinidad
in.
is, but the ones that are involved with Copa America, they're not doing
Because
World
they
Cup
place because
qualifiers.
in order to do that, you were in the top 4 or whatever. So you're not in the early rounds of the qualification.
Yeah, so Jamaica's I think, in the later rounds.
No, Jamaica is playing in World Cup qualifiers. They played the Dominican
Really?
Republic on the 6th. Yeah.
Really?
Thursday.
That's
yes.
interesting.
They don't play Mexico till the 22nd. So this window is just for the 6th of June. They play Dominican Republic. And the 9th of June, they play Dominica. So
Dominica.
that's weird. Dominica, thank you. That looked weird that they play Dominican Republic and Dominica. That is very strange that they're all in the same group. But what are we gonna do? So
that's odd that they're playing 2 qualifiers right before
that's
the
what
Copa America.
That's what I meant. Like this is World Cup qualifier. That's why Trinidad's playing, and that's why everybody's playing. This is a FIFA World Cup qualifying window. This isn't the Copa. This is the Euro start the 21st, as do the as does Copa America. So we got it straight. Look at us, folks. Just professional as ever, doing a research on the fly. You love to see it. You love to see it. So yeah, so we won't have Kavan until I'm assuming that following Monday on the 10th. So we will not have him for this upcoming match against El Paso. We will not have him for the match on Saturday against Tulsa at Tulsa. So we'll see how that goes.
Do you think he ends up playing Copa America if he has a good showing on these 2 qualifiers?
If he has a good showing, I don't see why not. The others, let's see. Mohamed Omar got called up to the Somalia national team, but he's going to miss out through injury. Trova Boni got called up by the it's not Guinea-Bissau. That's
I had it on here. Burkina
Faso. Yeah, Burkina Faso. Bonnie, but he's gonna miss due to injury. And did I get everybody? I got Bonnie, Omar.
Yeah, you covered everyone.
Yeah, I got everybody. So all 6. Just the worst. Just the worst.
That is 4 African internationals too. Interesting.
That's pretty cool. I know Omar. It's pretty obvious that he's kind of seeing, looking at his options, just because he has played for Canada in the past. But it kind of seems that he's just looking at other options. Maybe he feels that Somalia may be a better opportunity for him.
What do you mean is it legit?
What are you talking about?
Tanny got called up by Canada?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And we have. I know. We haven't even gotten there yet. Oh.
I think he killed the surprise.
Man, the MLS ruins everything. Even their fans ruin everything. What are we doing?
I thought that was just like, I'm embarrassed. I just left.
I guess when we've been so long, we lost the routine and stuff, the flow. So we're getting a little rusty.
What
flow? We have an outline. That's why we have an outline.
Read, Matthew. Read. We have this for a reason.
Where
Read.
was it? I didn't even see it.
Oh my god.
It's available to you. We send it out every week.
Well,
I would just like to say I called it that the show was not going to stay on tracks. I'm just going to say it. I called it early.
We're so sorry. We apologize profusely. We're so sorry. This is a mess. Okay. All right. Let's lock in. we're being about as organized as a Mexican national team. We need to be as organized as a
That's crazy.
United States national team. So let's go forward. Let's do this. Don't question me, Czech. Don't question me. My name's Berhalter. I'm capped. I am the captain now. Anyway, so
You can do
continuing
no
on.
wrong.
It's not that the players support Greg, and so that's the big thing. The players want to play for him, and that's why he's there, and not Jesse Marsh. And Jesse Marsh is in Canada because he's angry at the U.S. Anyway, continuing on, those 6 players were called up by their countries. That is rec for SAFC. That's exciting. That just shows the level of play that we have, level of player that we have, level of talent at the club. At the same rate, El Paso also has a couple players that got called up to their international team for World Cup qualifiers. So in the end, it just shows how much the league is rising as a whole. And that's very exciting for fans, for, I guess we can call ourselves media members that cover these teams, that just everything is getting better with the club's talent wise. So moving right along, our next segment is going to be the SAFC alumni, SAFC Familia corner. And I'm sure one of our updates got completely sideswiped and ruined. But let's get to it. Santiago Patino, still with Ho Chi Minh City, now has 3 goals with the team. They're still mid-table, but they're scoring more goals. So still looking good for him. They're definitely scoring more goals. I know in the beginning they had a couple 0-0 draws. Now they've won 4-1, or 3-1, and was it 4-2 respectively. So they're scoring more goals. The offense is there. Hopefully this is a long-term project for Ho Chi Minh City, and they continue to start Patino, who's obviously had a really nice influence and impact on their offense, and hopefully he just continues to tear it up out there in Vietnam. And speaking of overseas, Jose Gallegos and Suniuska finished the season with a 1-1 draw, kind of a muted end, but at the same rate, they got to raise a trophy. They had a nice little I saw confetti and champagne celebration on the field. Looked like a good time. They picked up the trophy. They won their league. They get to go up to the Superliga, and hopefully we get to watch them on TV next season. So very exciting for them, especially after last season's disappointment for being relegated and then instantly promoted back in. That's great.
It was, just to be clear,
fire away.
2 years ago. It
was
yeah. So Jose joined in the 2021.
Oh, that's right, 22 season.
Yeah,
That's right, because he missed.
He got relegated, a couple months after joining,
Yeah,
and then
that's
last
fair.
year they, I think, were just kind of mid-table. They almost
That's
made
right.
the promotion half
Mhm.
for the last third of the season, but didn't quite. But
That's
this
right.
year they were really solid and ended up winning the championship. I
Yeah, they had-
actually thought it was a little funny. They got promoted and it seemed very excited, and then they won the league and it was like, cool. So
yeah.
I thought, maybe that was, and it kind of makes sense. Honestly, the more important thing for the club is getting that promotion back.
Exactly.
But then they did lift the trophy this past weekend, so it's like, okay, maybe it is still a fairly big deal for them. They celebrate it.
Absolutely, and at the same rate, with the promotion, obviously, more money in the team, and so that's just good for all around for the club. So really exciting for them. And you're right, it kind of seemed like when a hockey team wins their conference, not to bring up fresh wounds on my half with the Dallas Stars getting eliminated, but whenever it's tradition for some strange reason in hockey, if you win the conference, so if you win your half of the bracket to go to the Stanley Cup final, you do not touch that trophy. They bring the trophy out, they put it on the table. The captain goes, takes a picture of it, just kind of beside it, like an awkward prom date, and walks away, and that's it. They never touch the trophy. They leave it there. No one touches it, and that's a tradition thing. So kind of seemed like that with the promotion, because they were like, hey, we are with winning the league. They're like, hey, yeah, okay, that's fine. So pretty funny. But anyway, nonetheless, they succeeded. It's great. Hopefully we'll get to see them on TV. Another alumni report is Nathan. Nathan was subbed in for Portland against the
How do you do, Matt? How do you do, Matt?
some other team. I don't know who they played exactly. It's not
You did
important
good.
who they played. But he came on and within a couple minutes span scored the I believe it was a game winner, correct?
No.
Okay,
He
fair
scored
enough.
He scored. It went to 2-1, and then Dynamo scored, and it was 2-2 final.
Fair enough. Okay, but he scored the go-ahead goal, I guess we can describe it as, within a minute or two of coming on. And that is his first goal in 10 appearances this season. So Nathan scoring goals in the MLS as he always does. Right spot, right time, just kind of what he does. And then our big alumni report, big that kind of got ruined, but Tani Oluwaseyi with Minnesota United cannot stop scoring. With us last season, with SanAntonio FC last season, could not stop scoring. Jesse Marsh and the Canadian national team have recognized that, and he has been called up to the Canadian men's national team for his first call up on their roster. So very exciting times. He'll join Dane St. Clair on their rosters, former SanAntonio FC alumni. Just very exciting to see. Jonathan, you have any thoughts on that?
Nothing particularly different than that. I think it's interesting that you kind of glossed over the goals and appearances he has this year because it's not even a surprise anymore. You know, he's racking those up. He's been really influential for Minnesota this season. I say really influential, but he's making significant contributions. And so it's really cool to see him getting recognized by the Canadian national team. I mean, we talked earlier about all the internationals SAFC has in, you know, some of these Caribbean nations that maybe don't have as many players to choose from. For Canada to choose an SAFC alumni, that's a much bigger deal. I mean, this is the reigning hexagonal or technically octagonal champion from the last World Cup cycle. Even though they didn't quite deliver when they got to Qatar, it was a really solid team, and they still have a lot of solid players, and they've decided, you know what, we think Tani may be able to join this team. So huge congratulations to him. Let's hope that he's able to keep this upward trajectory, and let's hope that it's not just a call up. Let's hope that he gets some minutes, some action, and justifies his spot on there with some attacking flair.
I'm definitely excited. Looking forward to the Tani Oluwaseyi windmill celebration after he scores his first goal for Canada that we've seen so many times. So good to see, great to see. Definitely going to watch his games that are coming up here in a bit. But we will, you know what? I'll throw it over to Harry. Harry, you have any thoughts on Dane St. Clair and Tani Oluwaseyi, former SanAntonio FC players, now getting call-ups to the Canadian national team?
Love it. Like Tani. I think Tani's a little bit of a shock. I don't know if that just talks about a little bit about the depth with Canada right now. For her, not trying to dismiss Tani at all, but just it's awesome to see him scoring 20 plus goals last year with SAFC, off to 7 goals with Minnesota, and getting recognized. And to me, like I said here, I think it just goes to show that the depth of USL is getting stronger, and where hopefully MLS Matt and other teams will recognize the talent that is in this league. And I would also go to coaching as well. I wonder how this looks for Marcina when it comes to that as well here. But Rafa, your thoughts in regards to, I know you're Team Mexico, but your thoughts on seeing some of the roster movements within Mexico, US, Canada, the big I guess the big three within CONCACAF.
I think with the situation with Tani, it's a big deal because look at the hard work he's put in this last couple of years. Like I said, what he did here, now it's showing that in Minnesota. So this is well earned, and who knows how what it'll do. I'm sure Jesse Marshall has some plans for him, and maybe I'll have a really good Gold Cup coming up. As far as like on the Mexico side, I did see them play last week, and they actually made a change. So they're playing more U23 players. So this team that's playing in Copa America is a very young. You can tell that there's still some inexperience, but the one thing I actually do like is that these guys do hustle, and that's a big difference. They actually hustle, they work hard, and that was the compliments I was seeing, hearing from especially from the commentators and from Univision. They're really, like I said, yeah, we're gonna take our lumps a little bit, but you can tell the guys out there, they fully understand. They want to take a full advantage of this situation, and because they know this is an opportunity to get to be part of that World Cup squad. And when you have hungry players, they're gonna pretty much do a lot for you. So we'll see. Like I said, they got some good some games coming up. I think they may play tonight.
No.
Or tomorrow. I think they're playing Uruguay. I think is it?
No.
No, it's not tonight.
No, Canada plays on the 6th, so Thursday they play the Netherlands, and then
Mexico.
Mexico
plays tomorrow against Uruguay.
Yeah. Nobody cares.
And they're playing in Denver, and then the Saturday game at College Station with Brazil. That should be a fun.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that has been I know some people that are selling their tickets because they're not going to be able to go. Anyway, no, I was thinking Canada. Sorry. Canada plays against the Netherlands on Thursday the 6th, and then against France on Sunday the 9th. So pretty tough competition there for Tanny. So that'll be interesting to see. You're talking about the Mexican U23s. I got it because, yeah, they need a big talent change, a big overhaul of their roster. And that's kind of been a long time coming. So we'll see how that goes.
It'd be kind of cool to see the United States play away. I'm just putting it out there.
Never. Gotta have the games here where the Federation can cash in.
Yeah, pretty much.
Too much.
Yeah. So
he's not going to get you a job with U.S. Soccer now. Anyway.
Yeah. Self-elimination on that one. So moving right along, we'll just kind of cover the games that we've missed, which are quite a few. SAFC unfortunately went 5 straight games, 4 straight league games without a win. The first game was the U.S. Open Cup. They lost 2-0 to Indy 11. They went down early and never really recovered from it. And that was a first round bow out for SAFC in the U.S. Open Cup. Very disappointing. This is probably one of the more lucrative years for them to actually make a run, and it just didn't work out. So pretty tough. Jonathan, do you have any thoughts on that real quick?
Yeah, so just to clarify, not first round, it was a few rounds in.
I'm sorry. The first round that they entered, their first match, not the first round of the cup. Mm-hmm. It was the 4th round of the cup, if I'm not mistaken, but their first match in the tournament.
I mean, they entered the tournament so late that it wasn't even labeled as first, second, third round. It was the round of 32. So
yeah, it's tough.
They did have a good opportunity there. And this is actually the first year that SAFC, if you ignore 2020 and 21 when the Open Cup didn't happen, this unfortunately was the first year that SAFC didn't win a single game in the Open Cup. But at the same time, they didn't get to start with an amateur team or anything like that. They had to travel to face a fellow USL Championship side in the middle of a busy week for them. So, and with this injury-ridden squad, it was always going to be tough. So I think losing 2-0 away to Indy is not exactly the worst thing on paper, but I think it's the way that it happened. The fact that you had a solid lineup there and they just concede those 2 early goals. And I mean, that was the game right there. SAFC showed some signs of life after that, but could never get back into it. And so it was disappointing the way that it happened. But all you can do is move on and wish luck to perhaps the other USL Championship teams that are in this competition, because the way MLS has treated that competition this year, you certainly don't want any of their teams to win it. And perhaps they don't really care about their teams winning it anyway. So, but yeah, so that's, I would say, really all you need to say about the Open Cup match. I mean, that was almost a month ago at this point. So no use dwelling on it too much. It's ancient history at this point.
Not at all. And moving right along, the next game was at home against Vegas, SanAntonio FC. This is kind of when the injury report, it kind of started growing, but it continued to grow for the Vegas match. The injury report was Manley and Bongu, Lucho, and Pablo, and Lucas were all unavailable. And then Windbichler was added, and Tainer had a kind of a freak injury right before. Tainer was added to Tainer, and Hawkinson returned.
Well, yeah, so Mitch had missed, if people remember, he had gone down about 20 minutes into the match in Miami a few weeks before that. So he was out for a few weeks. This was the match where he came back. I don't remember if he went the full 90, but he did make his return finally, and as did Hawkinson. I think he had been out for a few weeks as well. So
yeah, no, Tainer did go the whole 90 in this match. Chol in stoppage time in the first half scored. Jonathan, you have any thoughts on that goal? You have a Mark Ellis note on here?
I mean, I barely remember it, but this was one where I think Chol took a shot from sort of the edge of the box, and it wasn't even the strongest shot or anything, but it was just kind of so well placed. Mark Ellis, for those of you who've seen him on Twitter, he had, let me pull it up here because I linked it. He said, and I quote, "The keeper went down in installments for that," which I thought was funny. And if you look,
Wow.
I mean, it is almost like you see frame by frame. He's like, do I get? No, I can't get down to it. And the goal goes in. So good goal for SAFC there. They were up 1-0 at halftime, which, you're on your way to going into a 2-week break with a win, which would have been nice. But then, I don't know if you want me to.
No, that's all right. I'll take over. Hernandez had a tackle from behind that may have gotten ball first, but it's kind of one of those 50-50s from behind, and a 50-50 from behind, you risk a yellow card. He got a yellow. It was kind of a borderline yellow. Like I said, it's obvious he got the ball, but he had to go through the man to get the ball from behind. You risk a yellow card doing that. I still think it was soft, considering that this ref had kind of let everything go up to that point, and that's where he drew the line. It is what it is. And maybe a minute or two later, Hernandez was just following a guy, putting a press on, and the ref called a foul for zero reason. The player never went down. He stayed up. Hernandez was behind him. Hernandez turned around, looked at the ref like, "What are you calling?" And boom, yellow for dissent. So
no, it was on the same play. It was the tackle where
it was. You're right. You're right.
And he got up and either said something. He did make it in action, and he got the second. Yeah, he got there were the yellow cards back to back.
Well, you're not saying it was from the same play, are you?
It was the same play.
It was the same play.
I think
it was two yellows from the same play.
Apart.
No, it wasn't.
I think Harry's right.
I'm almost positive it was a couple minutes apart, but two separate plays. Go back and look at it.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back. Hold on. Keep going.
It's not. It's on the tag. It's on the tackle. He got the yellow for the tackle. He got up
from behind, yes, and then a couple minutes later,
he put someone else and was given because he was given the through there. So
anyway, while Royce looks at what do you have the result?
Same play. Yellow card 47th minute, red card 48th minute. Same play.
It was the same play.
I will go back and look at it tonight. In fact, I could even do it right now, but we need to do the show.
It was the same. The reason why I know it was the same play is because we were flabbergasted on how he got How he went from no cards to, I thought it was a straight red is what he gave to him, because we didn't even see the second yellow. From in 114, and Rafa was there, you didn't see the second yellow. You saw the first yellow, and then you saw the, almost immediately the red card. And to be fair, his actions they were out there. But to me, the referee, if you're gonna call it, just give it a yellow. Let him have a couple of seconds to cool down, walk away. But no, he just went bam, bam, and it was done.
Yeah, that ref didn't have any stick skin, and I think it was like a little trigger happy with the cards in that game.
Anyway, so
yeah, go ahead, Jonathan.
That happening, SAFC then has to play pretty much the entire second half down a man, and in the 59th minute, there is a very, very inexcusable, terrible giveaway at the back from SAFC, trying to play it out of the back, and Las Vegas pounced on that, and it ends up with Valentin Noel volleying it in after a squared ball from the right, and so all of a sudden the match is level. SAFC has to endure a bit of a barrage from that point on, is able to hold on to the 1-1 draw. So if you told SAFC at halftime they were going to have to settle for a 1-1 draw, they'd be disappointed. But I think given the circumstances of that second half, you say, yeah, okay, we take that, we survive, and we now have 2 weeks before our next match. We'll try and keep things straight and get back to winning ways then, which 2 weeks later, then you have, unless anyone has anything to say about this Las Vegas match, anything extra? No? Okay. May 25th, New Mexico 2, San Antonio FC 1. Yet another match. This has happened a few times this season where SAFC opens the scoring. Did so in the, I guess if we want to talk injury report, I mean, to me, it's a revolving door, but you've still got Solignac, Cisniega, Silva, Finnbuckler there. Boney was added, and Tainter was a late addition, and I don't think SAFC would mind me saying this. Apparently, it was just kind of a weird freak injury that he got a day or two before the match, because we'd interviewed him on the Thursday, and so it was so weird to see him not on the injury report, but then not in the squad, and then SAFC amended the injury report, added him to it, and SAFC later told us, yeah, it was just a bit of a weird injury, and they mentioned he'll be back for the match against Memphis, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But Tanner was out for that match in New Mexico, and Mohamed Omar also somehow picked up a weird injury toward the end of warmups. Really unfortunate for him, because not only did it rule him out of that match, but he ended up having to pull out of the Somalia squad for their upcoming matches. So real add insult to injury there. Thankfully, Carter Manley and Hugo Mbangu were available again. We'll talk about how that first match back went for Manley later.
Yep.
But SAFC starts fairly well, gets the opening goal, maybe a bit against the run of play, but Kevin Lambert with a solid lob from the SAFC's own half, really, I think, or at least midfield, and it lands with Luke Hawkinson, and he heads it back across goal. All of a sudden, SAFC's ahead on the road against one of the better teams in the USL Championship, or at least in the Western Conference right now. I think they're currently sitting in first. I don't know if they were heading into that match, but a high-flying team. So you think, all right, you know what? SAFC is back from this 2-week break. They're leading on the road against a solid team. This is going well. And then New Mexico decided to score 2 goals before halftime and turn things around. First, you've got Husu Landry, who finishes a chance. He's alone in the center of the box. The SAFC defense got pulled to one side a little bit because you had Greg Hurst making a really sort of skillful run just along the end line, keeping the ball inside. I think he even maybe went around an SAFC defender to then cut the ball back for Landry. So that puts them level with SAFC in the 35th minute. And then in first half stoppage time, you've got Greg Hurst yet again being involved. And this time, the ball kind of just, it actually starts with a long ball forward from goalkeeper Alex Tambakis. He launches it forward, and who was it? Dayon Harris brings it down a touch or two, puts it in the path of Hurst, and he just unleashes a rocket from probably 25 yards.
Yeah.
Not much that Kendall McIntosh could have done there. I think it might have even won goal of the week. If it didn't win, it was at least a nominee. So what are you going to do? If nothing else, it's a good advertisement for USL, I suppose. These aren't just mediocre players. They've got a shot on them. They can anything MLS does, at least from here, from time to time, they can do just as well, if not better. It actually, come to think of it, as I'm saying it right now, it reminds me of some years ago, like 2017, 2018, when USL got a few plays that went kind of viral. I think Phoenix had one, Oklahoma City had one, like a really popular bicycle kick. So this is not a boring league. It gives you a lot of entertainment. But unfortunately for SAFC fans, they didn't want to see an entertaining goal against them, and that's what happened. Second half, honestly, I don't even really remember that much of it.
The less said, the better. The less
Yeah.
said, the better about that second
kinda-
half. There was no creativity. The
On
only
either side,
plus
on
side,
either side.
correct. The only plus that happened was Eduardo Fernandez got his first minutes this season with the first team. Eduardo Fernandez, academy kid, came in, got some first minutes as a pro. So what I will say real quick, going back, looking at the film, it was a separate foul. But it was basically the exact same thing that Hernandez. Yeah, JC is vindicated. It was just
Go back and look, Harry. I'm serious. Like, I know they were a couple minutes apart, but they were different plays. You owe me $20.
So the Vegas player once again is ahead of Hernandez. Hernandez, as he gets to his shoulder level, the Vegas player just falls down, and the ref gives the whistle again. Not a foul, but gives a whistle again. Hernandez does the get the F out of here hand gesture, just kind of a get out of here, and the ref Elvis, our friend Elvis, Mr. I got to be the center of attention, pro referee ref, runs up to Hernandez, gets the yellow in his hand, and then grabs the red. When he doesn't even show him the second yellow and then the red. He gets it out of his pocket, puts it right back in, and then gives a red card. So it is a second yellow. It's just another ref show. We've seen a lot of ref shows this season, and that was another one of them where it was just like that's not even a foul. It's an anticipated foul that you're going to give a yellow.
At the same time, don't leave yourself in the position where the referee has an opportunity to make that call. Try to just keep a level head. Don't lose your head. I know Hernandez had gotten that yellow a few minutes earlier. Just before you react, take a deep breath. Just kind of walk away.
Did Maggie get a red?
Once again. So that is what we're going to conclude with on the past games, except for the Memphis game we'll go over, which is happening behind me right now. The other thing of note that happened, Fernandez got his pro debut this season, and Manley got a second yellow card and got a red card in his return from injury. Again, it was a tackle from behind. I'm not 100% sure if that was really needed. But once again, you can't put yourself in that position. So
yeah,
like
well, and I remember looking at the highlights a day or two ago, and they had cut to sort of a different camera angle or something, and so you couldn't quite see it. But it might have just been one of those where like he doesn't mean it. But if you clip a player who's making a counterattack like that, yeah, that's one of those that you kind of have to receive a yellow for, whether you meant it or not, no matter how malicious it is. If you're stopping an attack like that, yeah, that's a yellow. And
So
obviously, when you've already got one, there you go.
So my final comment on the New Mexico San Antonio match. SAFC had to watch party out at the Rock, I believe is what it is, called there. It was a fun time. I know Rafa and Matt Wynn and FTC represented. It had the drums and several people out there, banging and having making a good environment for that here. So I believe there is another one coming up. I think it's Indy, if memory serves me correct here. Fun time to go to. Fun time to go to. Well worth going to. They had some fan giveaways. Bring your own chair for that here, but the beer and the food was all right, and it was a pretty decent screen. It is an SAFC screen, so there was even one area out there that was a little marked a little bit. But if you get the opportunity,
didn't have to do that.
Hey, dude, gotta rep.
I mean, that screen is how new?
I don't know. It's the first time I've been there, but
yeah, the Rock is less than a year old.
So to already see some of that going on, big screens are hard, I guess. I mean, is what it is.
So anyway, moving right along, we have this past Saturday's match to review real quick. Once again, the injury report included Lucho still, Cisniega still, Silva still, Bonnie and Omar, as we talked about, and once again, Tainer and Wim Bischler came back from injury. We have heard, we've kind of heard some whispers. Yeah, some whispers in the air. That's where I was going with. Same page. That Silva and Omar's injury might be long term. Perhaps, a couple more months recovery time. Cisniega will probably be back here in 4 weeks. Is that about the time frame? Because that injury is normally like a 6 to 8 week thing from what we've heard. So probably 4 weeks. We won't go into the details. You don't want to hear the details. It is an upper body injury, but normally he's been out 4 weeks. It should take another 4. And then we haven't really heard anything about Bonnie, but we'll see. Jonathan, have you heard anything about Bonnie? I know Silva and Omar were the two that we've heard kind of the more, and Cisniega.
I thought they mentioned on the air that it was Silva, Bonnie, and Omar that were going to be last third of the season before we possibly see.
Oh, Bonnie too? Okay.
Bonnie too, yeah. Solinag, we've been hearing reports that, he is working out. Now we don't know what working out means.
Right.
During warm-ups here. Cisniega has a hand injury for that here.
Yeah.
So obviously, as a goalkeeper, got to have your hands, as Rafa can attest to for that here. So
Scott Sterling begs to differ. Scott Sterling begs to differ.
Wow. You're going to...
He's not wrong.
Scott Sterling. Anyway,
literally has a cannon for a leg. If you have not looked up the Scott Sterling video, or if it's been a few years,
don't do yourself a favor. Don't.
Awesome.
It's terrible. It's so bad.
So cheesy. Anyway,
it's so bad. So anyway, continuing.
Yeah, you do need your hands.
Yeah. So that's the injury report. Getting to the game against Memphis, it was kind of apprehensive by both teams. Not a lot really going on. If anything, Memphis had the majority of the chances, a lot of shots that got blocked. In the 26th minute, a ball goes out from Shannon to Lacey, who they're both on the right wing. It's a ball down the sideline. Lacey gives a really nice head fake to the Memphis left back and just completely burns him, leaves him for dead, uses his pace to get up to the baseline, gives a nice crossover, and Jonathan and Agudelo Jonathan, I'm going to throw this off to you because you were at the interview for Agudelo talking about his agreement with Lacey if he had a cross come in the box.
Yeah, so someone asked about just kind of how Agudelo saw the goal. I mean, it was the only goal, so you might as well ask about it. And he said, once I cleaned up the quote a bit, the training staff need a lot of credit for just how that goal played out. We were training that play nonstop all week. Shannon Gomez played a great ball. Cameron made a great run, sacrificed himself to pull the center back out of position. I actually told him I owe him $20 if he hits it near post, and I'm not there. And it just feels good to have the same exact play that you've been training all week. So it was maybe not the exact play, but just kind of a general pattern that they had seen. Hey, this might be a good opportunity for us. They trained it during the week and it worked out. And so I don't think Lacey necessarily owes Agudelo $20, but Agudelo made that run and saved himself from having to hand an Andrew Jackson over to Cameron. So just kind of nice to hear these amusing anecdotes from the team. It's he could have just said, oh, credit to the playing staff. We rehearsed that during the week, but he adds this funny little asterisk to it that makes it fun. So something that SAFC mentioned, particularly, Marcina said, oh, these guys are a brotherhood. So it is nice to hear and see these moments of them kind of just messing around with each other, having a good relationship like that. It's not all business. They do have some fun together.
Yeah, either one Andrew Jackson or two Alexander Hamiltons for all you that enjoy the play. So moving right along, Memphis kind of continued with their onslaught.
Man, we cannot rely on Royce's internet tonight. Okay, so
hamster's not working.
Yeah, need to get that hamster running a little faster to keep your power going. Anyway, yeah. So Memphis, particularly toward the end of the match, even after they had a player sent off with about 10-15 minutes to go, Memphis really stepped it up. I think, we asked about that post game. Was it kind of weird that they stepped it up? I don't think it's weird because they look at this and say, well, we're down a man, but we're also only down a goal away from home. All we need is one good moment, and we come away from this with a point, which they would have been more than happy with.
Yeah.
And so they really laid it on thick in the last sort of 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes. Gave SAFC some problems, but Kendall McIntosh made some solid saves, including a big double save in the last few minutes. And some of his defenders also bailed him out to preserve a clean sheet for SAFC. That was its first in over a month, its first clean sheet along with a win in over 2 months. So just a really good, it was a result that SAFC needed. Like I said, the clean sheet, the shutout, first win in over a month, first home win in over 2 months. So you just needed that going forward, especially when you're about to lose some of the players, particularly on international duty, when you've got these injuries, when you've got a busy schedule this week. We'll get to it in a second, but we're doing this the night before a certain fairly important match. And then 3 days after that, SAFC will hit the road, and that'll be the first of 3 road matches this month. So you really needed that result was just a breath of fresh air for them. SAFC kind of needed that to decompress a bit, to have something to build off of. And, it really paid off for them in the standings too.
Absolutely. Really solid win. And you talked about that double save. There was a shot from distance outside the box from the Memphis number 5, kind of knuckleball that was swirling places. Kendall got the save on it and punched it right out to their number 9, who had a nice shot. Kendall got up and made the save. And there was another double save that happened. There was a cross that came in that was kind of close to the post. Kendall pushed it out, but pushed it out right to a Memphis player once again. Memphis player controlled, shot it. Kendall was up and made the second save as well. So we had a couple double saves toward in the match. So really impressive performance from Kendall McIntosh. Something that is just it really paid dividends. Once again, SAFC signs arguably two starting goalkeepers, and it's very important, especially this time in the season. So this is the third season SAFC signed at least 2 starting quality goalkeepers, and it's paid dividends every time they've done it. So perhaps this will be a glimpse into the future and just a normal policy going forward. So, so that leaves SAFC 5th right now in the Western Conference, with a game in hand against the team in 6th place Phoenix, and 2 games in hand against the team in 3rd place Monterey Bay. Tomorrow they play El Paso, who's in the basement of the West, and then Saturday they played the team in 11th place, so second from the basement, Tulsa. So very important to make up some ground, really get some good results this week, and if they do, knock on wood, get all 6 points, they will find themselves much higher up the table and a lot better prospects this week. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll see how they do from there, and we'll just kind of move on. I think that's all we really want to cover about those games. We don't need to preview them at all. We'll just cover that, and then we'll just go right into final thoughts. Matthew, do you have any final thoughts for this show that has taken us a while to get recorded, but hey, we're here?
Manchester's red.
Interesting. Okay.
All right.
But,
Rafa,
Emily is red,
As
perhaps.
for but
yeah,
as for tailgate tomorrow, I think it's gonna be a beer gate, guys. I think the Crocs are getting pizza. I don't know yet. As for FTC and 210, I think we're BYOB and BYOF. So we're not expecting a lot of people. Plus, it's a Wednesday and everybody's getting off work or trying to unwind. So we'll see everybody out there tomorrow.
fair enough. It's also a 3-2-1 match. So $3 hot dogs, $2 sodas, $1 beer. So
I thought it was $3 sodas, $2 hot dogs, $1 beer. Dang, I told my friends the wrong thing.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3 hot dog, 2 soda, 1 beer. So
Whatever it is, it's better than usual stadium concession food prices. So
fair enough. Rafa, do you have any final thoughts?
How convenient that they have it on a Wednesday. But anyways, final thought. I think what I'm looking at as far as tomorrow's game is consistency in finishing. That game against Memphis, those breakaways that we could have pretty much put them away, we didn't do that. And with a team like El Paso, what they're going through, they're desperate. They're desperate for a win. It is a rivalry game. It's a CopaTejas game. So they're going to bring it. So we can't leave teams hanging around. We have to finish, and that's the key. Can we finish teams off with goals when we have opportunities? I think that was the first game we won with a man up in a while. So, everyone was panicking, the red card. Are we probably going to lose this game? But, we were able to pull this one off. But the thing is, we had opportunities that we could have closed that game, but we just, like I said, I don't know. There's like a mental block that's keeping us from being aggressive and finishing teams off. So I want to see some more aggressiveness there, and hope everyone has a chance to be out there to cheer the team on. And hopefully we can get these 3 points and a step closer to the 3-peat for the CopaTejas.
It has been a while since we've had a multi-goal game. Yeah, it's been a while, so I'm not even going to go back. I don't want to look back, but you're right. It's been a while, and it would be nice to put together a multi-goal game. Absolutely. Costas Titan wants to know what kind of beer is the dollar beer. Typically, it's either it's Ultra, Bud Light, it's Anheuser-Busch products. So normally, yeah, just those 2, right? Or no, you can get they have Ziegenbach. You can get Ziegenbach as well. Trying to think of the others. They have Estrella. You can get for $1 in the little dollar cups. So it's just I think those are the 4 beers that are out there, right? Estrella, Ziegenbach, Bud Light, and
Man, if I would have known Estrella was one of them, I would rather get that.
Yeah, Estrella's over there on the west stand, pretty close to the season ticket headquarter desk. So yeah, not bad. Pretty good options there. Jonathan, you have any final thoughts?
just glad that we finally got around to recording this. I know Harry was trying to throw Royce under the bus earlier, but
I didn't try. I did.
Yeah, absolutely did. I could show you the tread mark on my back. Absolutely.
But it's hard to get all of us together, particularly now if Harry is thinking about coming back, at least as a guest, if not the host. It's a lot of different schedules that we have to make align. So at least we were able to do it tonight. And going forward, I'm excited to see how this CopaTejas match goes. It's SAFC and El Paso. Those are the only two teams in CopaTejas anymore. But I don't think we touched on it. You've got former RGV head coach Wilmer Cabrera, as of a couple weeks ago, is the head coach for El Paso. He did not have the best record against SAFC in his most recent stint during the Marcina era. We're not going to talk about when he was the Torres coach in 2016. That was ancient history, and the Torres did a lot better back then.
Never happened. Don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. But I've told a few people I am curious to see what Cabrera is able to do at El Paso, because it just seems like a team that has more resources. And I know a few people were saying when he was hired by El Paso, look, it's kind of impressive what he was able to do with the Toros, given their limited budget and all that. So it may not come together right now, but over the rest of the season, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And obviously, SAFC's got a really thin squad right now. We were looking before we went live. It's going to be a few square pegs and round holes on Wednesday, and for a few matches going forward. But SAFC likes to say we don't make excuses. So, all right, no excuses. Get results.
Absolutely. Harry, final thoughts. Welcome back to the show. You have any
Yeah.
final-
So, final thought: CopaTejas, both Wednesday matches, which sucks for both traveling fans. El Paso, SanAntonio, Marcina, Wilmer. They don't like each other. We don't like them. Fuck Yuma. Sorry.
And their tacos suck.
Listed on here. He's still on the roster. Fuck Yuma. It should be fun. Justin Dillon returned, so that'll be cool to kind of say hello to Justin. Along those lines here, he's working hard, putting in a lot of effort with them. It'll be interesting to see the lineup that comes out. We didn't really get to it because we ran out of time for it here, but there's 12 senior roster spots that SAFC has, which 5 of them are forwards, 4 center backs, and only 2 midfielders. So it'll be interesting to see how they create the midfield. It should be a fun game. It'll be a warm game for here, but 8 o'clock tip. It'll also be on CBS Sports Network. So it is not on ESPN. It is a nationally televised game. So if you don't have tickets, or if you have tickets, please try to go out. I know it's the for Northside schools, second to the last day of school for them. AJ's even going to go. He's going to bring his girlfriend, so that'll be interesting the first time. He's making a public appearance with his girlfriend, so that'll be interesting.
90s woo track. Woo!
But should be fun. It'll El Paso, SanAntonio's always an entertaining game. It's a physical game. Wilmer, there's been reports of a fight in the preseason match between Wilmer and Coach Marcina. So it's one to tune up for. If you're going to have a one on national TV, it'll be it. And like I said here, costless. Keep your, you can stay with El Paso now. That's your new team. Stay away from SanAntonio. As we've discussed, you are banned from the SanAntonio bandwagon.
Fair enough. All right. And my final thought, I got a couple. Man, first one's going to be Happy Pride Month. It's not supposed to be controversial. It's just supposed to be a month to be proud of who you are, period. No matter who you are, That's all it means. Whatever that means to you, be proud of yourself, be true to yourself. That's it. No more, no less. Happy Pride Month. And at the same rate, also happy birthday to founder of this podcast, founder of the overarching podcast, the SanAntonio Soccer Roundtable podcast, Scott Borowski. Happy birthday to you. Hope you and your family are doing well out there in North Texas. Hope everything's going well. So,
I think you mean
Scott,
Oklahoma.
oh, isn't he in Wichita? Oh, I don't want to say where he lives. That's kind of awkward, but
North Texas is Oklahoma. Come on, let's be honest.
sure. So anyway, Scott is the one who started the famous saying, the famous sign-off saying. So in honor of him, honor of his birthday, I'll end this podcast just like we've always done. What's life without goals? We'll see you next time.